Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. I have goosebumps under this jacket. I kid you not. I could show them to you, but this is a family show. I am so excited for tonight. We have a very, very special guest expert on. She is known as the Millionaire Maker. You do not want to miss this show. I promise you. Stick with us live to the end. The Mind Body Business Show. What is that all about? Well, in my now close to 55 years on this planet, I have began studying very successful people in the last, say, decade or so. And what I found during that decade was that these people that were so successful, had achieved that level of success that I desired, they seemed to have these patterns that seemed to be common amongst them. There were 3 patterns that kept bubbling up, and as I continued to analyze, I realized, I know what they are now. And the cool thing about this show is what we're going to do is reveal what those are to you by way of my special guest expert. She is an amazing woman. We may not hit all of the areas, but I have an inkling we probably will. Mind, it's all about the mindset. All successful people have a rock solid, powerful, positive, unwavering mindset while being human at the same time. We are all human, just so you know. And body. I've noticed that most successful individuals do take very good care of their body, both on the external, and that is through exercise, just moving, and nutritionally, what they are ingesting on a daily basis to keep themselves operating at what I like to call a peak level performance. Because the mind and body are a team. And I like to say even better than that, the mind and body are your team. And if any member of a team is not operating at a peak level, what happens to the team as a whole? It suffers. And so why not start right now, if you're not already, operating at a peak level in both the mind and body arenas. And then there's business. Business is multifaceted. There are areas of marketing, sales, team building, leadership, you name it. The list goes on and on. Skill sets that these very successful people have either themselves acquired personally or they've delegated it to a team that also exhibits these skills. And when you've done all 3, when you've mastered all 3 of these areas, mind, body, and business, I say, it's my opinion, and it's true, you are operating at a peak level of performance, hence the name Reach Your Peak of our company. And so what I want to do is really one more real key piece of information of what successful people do. And that comes by way of a segment I call bookmarks. Here we go.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, and I'm going to be very brief with this. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com. While you're watching and listening live or even in a recording, do yourself a favor and take notes on the side, on a piece of paper and a pen, old school. Instead of, I know we're all itching to go and type in a URL or a website address and check it out while you're watching and multitask. I implore upon you, please do not do that because, as even our guest would say, the magic happens in the room. So stay in the room. I hope you've already gone to the restroom and taken care of everything that needs to be taken care of, because if you miss one word out of this young lady's mouth, you could miss that one nugget that could change your life forever. And I'm not kidding. I am not kidding in the least. And so, real quick, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. I found years ago, I didn't read at all about a decade ago. I didn't read at all. I was just under a rock. And then ultimately I found by watching and listening and following these successful people, I realized that's one of the patterns they follow. It's all in the mind, right? It's part under the mind umbrella. And what I did was I started compiling all the books I began reading voraciously. And I put them in one website, and that is there for you. It's my gift to you. That is all this is. It's a collection of vetted books by one successful person so that you can then not have to guess. And you know that if you grab any of these books out of here, or all of them, that you will be reading something that's been vetted. Does that make sense? So I'm here to help save you time. That's what this show is all about. What is the shortcut to success? And we mean this with integrity. What is a shortcut to success? Well, we're going to get to that right about now because it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to bring on our special guest expert.
It's time for the guest expert spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there she is, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only, Loral Langemeier. Welcome to the show, Loral. I am so excited to have you here. You have no idea.
Awesome. It's great to be here.
Oh,
I just have to say this. My Millionaire Maker book series needs to be right at the top of your library.
There we go.
And The Secret and all the other things I was. So
we will have to add those to the list for sure. Thank you for that reminder. Definitely.
Definitely.
And real quick before we go on, I want to remind everyone watching to stay on to the very end because we have a phenomenal giveaway. We actually have several during the show. And at the end, you can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star, there's a little commonality going here, luxury resort in Mexico. Compliments of our good friends at powertexting.com. Every single show we give a trip away. And just so you know, you're not going to be lured into some timeshare pitch. This is legitimate. And I know that because the gentleman and the company that are offering this, he tested it himself, took his daughter, stayed in Mexico, had a blast. So stay on for that. Now it's time for the woman of the hour. So let's bring her on. Let's introduce her formally. If you don't mind, Loral, I'll just go through your bio, let people know what an amazing person you are, and then we'll dive in and have some fun. Sound good?
Yep, that's great.
I'm having fun already. I don't know about everybody else. Loral Langemeier is a money expert, sought-after speaker, entrepreneurial thought leader, and best-selling author of 5 books. You kind of mentioned a couple right there. Who is on a relentless mission to change the conversation about money and empower people around the world to become millionaires. Yes, it is possible. As the CEO and founder of Integrated Wealth System, a multinational organization, Loral shares her best advice without hesitation or apology. That's one thing I love about her, is there's no apology. She gives it to you straight between the eyes because that's often how we need it. What sets her apart from other wealth experts is her innate ability to hone in on the skills and talents of everyday people to inspire them to generate wealth. She has created, nurtured, and perfected a 3 to 5 year strategy to make millions for the average Jill and Joe. I love that. To date, the company has served thousands of individuals worldwide and created hundreds of millionaires through wealth building education keynotes, workshops, products, events, programs, and coaching services. On that note, I just saw her speak just this past June 22nd, and she's coming again soon near you, and we're going to bring that up here during the show as well. Luminaries including Bob Proctor, John Gray, J. Conrad Levinson, and Michael Gerber are powerful champions of her work. In fact, T. Harv Eker himself says, Loral Langemeier's investment strategies make millionaires. And the best thing is that anyone can use them. Whew. All right. Well, I'm out of breath. That is the end of the show. Thank you for watching. I'm kidding. That's amazing.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, and she has a great sense of humor to boot.
I am a little sarcastic.
I love it. So am I. We're going to get along great.
I think it's going to be a fun hour.
Yes. So that's a phenomenal background about you, Loral. I loved reading every word of it. And what I love to do when I bring on a guest, and I do this with every show, is really dig a little deeper. And I don't mean in a invasive way, just to find out more about what makes you, Loral Langemeier, a successful, very successful entrepreneur. What makes you tick? How do you operate when, outside of what people can see or read on a bio, for instance? So it would be like this. So you're sleeping, you're waking up, and if you're anything like me, you're a little groggy. I am. Some people bolt out of bed. I don't. I take some time. The feet swivel over, hit the floor, and now I'm starting to come to. And I'm becoming aware the days ahead of me, and now that motivation and drive and all that starts to set in. For you, Loral, what is that? Or are those things that motivate you to take on each and every day with all that vigor and passion that you always bring to the table?
So it's a big day. So I actually wrote a lot about it in my Yes Energy book. It's sort of interesting how I write books. I've had 5 New York Times. Most people don't have one. And what's interesting about that, which we'll talk about later, is, do you go for them now in 2019-20 or just say Amazon? Talk about that later. This little cue, Brian, I want you to ask me that. So I actually stay in bed for, like, my brain turns on pretty early, right? And so it starts churning. And as I write in my books, like, I think I always start my day, right? I think you start your day with your values, right? So I start my day with spirituality. I'm going to say God, my family, and then working out. So and I'm just starting this new cool boxing thing. So I'm super excited about that because I'm kind of bored with running and strength training for this minute. So I think when my brain turns on, it is about the motivation of the day. It's the forethought of the day. It's how you want to be in the day. It's what you're going to do and create. And I think for a lot of people listening, what most people do is start their day texting, emailing, and reacting and responding, which is not a generative idea or any energy. So whatever you call it, thoughts, prayer, meditation. So I actually probably for a good half hour are in that state. Then get up and it's all about my daughter. My son's off to university. So I was getting her to school, getting her organized. We have a drive to school. We have a illegal texting. There'll be no texting in the car or calling or talking or meetings. It is all about just our time and her day and how that's going to be for her. So it's a set, and then either off to the gym, or if that's a day I'm going to studio, whatever I'm going to be doing, then it's off to the day. But I kind of get a lot of what I call those important things out in the morning. For anybody who's successful, and depending on your clients or your team or how you do that, I think it's really critical that you organize that in the morning. And I'm also going to give some freedom to those who have a different hour. Like, I'm married to a night owl. About just under 4 years ago, I got married to a Canadian. He's the other way. So what I would say for those of you, what are your most important things? Put it in the time of day that is most energetic for you. So what is the time that you have the most motivation, the most drive? And we'll talk about more how you segment your day and how you organize your day as we get into our conversation. But what gets me up, I would say, is a mission and a purpose beyond myself.
Powerful, all of it. And I love this, Laurel, because so many have that are successful. And this, I repeat this week in and week out on this show, that all of the successful people that I've run into have a routine, whether it's in the morning or whether it's in the evening. Like you so aptly pointed out, it can be different for different people, as long as you have that routine. An interesting thing comes up when you talk to corporate people who are working the corporate lifestyle. One of the things they want to get away from is routine and discipline, because that's all they've known. The difference, there's a key difference, is that discipline and that routine now is self-inflicted, not outer-inflicted by someone else. You get to choose. That's the beautiful part of it. It's liberation. So once they get that reframe going, so just a little shout out to the corporate folk out there to help them along this path to say, I want to get away from all this. No, you really want to get right into it and just define what yours is going to be.
Well, and I think for a lot of those executives too, I would say, I had one job one time, and I was fairly, I hate the word executive, but I was fairly high up. I was at corporate level in Chevron. I worked downtown Market Street, San Francisco. And for me to reframe and become an entrepreneur, there is a huge identity shift that has to happen for you. And some of the first, good coaching I had was, when you actually get an integrated life, which is why I called it integrated, health and wealth, is when you actually have an integrated life, you don't have a personal life and a professional life, you have a life. Right? And I think there's a big part of just bringing all of that life, bringing your children, and really integrating, instead of saying, okay, I have this life and then I have this life and I'm going to be like this, and you choose how you want it to be. And I think a lot of folks who are locked into those corporate chains don't choose.
That is perfect to call it, a life, not separate lives, because so many will separate them, and maybe that's part of the problem. I think you've hit on it. It's your life is your life. You're absolutely right. There's no need to segment it and identify it separately. Everything you do in your life, you may be doing different tasks. They may be concentrating and focusing in different areas, but altogether, it's still your life. So that's well stated. Thank you, Loral. Very good. Very good. I imagine you've written 5 books, so I can only imagine. I'm just going to throw it out there and take a wild guess that you're also an avid reader as well.
So I actually have in total, so I have 5 New York Times. If you add The Secret and all my compilation books, I have about 50 something books. I got a bunch. My first book was with J. Conrad Levinson, love him, peace past. And I did Guerrilla Wealth. And that's a whole funny story about how I got that book, because he's a guerrilla marketer. And so to say I'm a guerrilla wealth builder, it took a lot of yes energy to get that book. But that book put me on the map. Literally 60 days later, McGraw-Hill called and said, would you do a book? I'm like, another book? Anyway, so I've done a lot of books. And yes, I probably have one of the largest libraries. So I'm going to say I was an avid reader for a very long time. I started at 17. I got the book Think and Grow Rich. And probably 10 years ago, I listen more than I read, and I reread. And in fact, I'm looking for a place to store my library. I have so many books. I mean, I couldn't even put them, like I'm in this big conference room. I'm here in, Northern Nevada, in the middle of my own seminar, doing your seminar. So I look at this wall and I think, I don't know that my books would even fit. Like we moved recently, and like the books just kept coming off the bookshelf. So I'll speak to what are my favorites instead of what's recent. Is that all right?
That's fine. Absolutely.
So I think that your annual reads must be Think and Grow Rich, because you're ever changing and always changing, and how you receive it will be so different because of who you're becoming. I got to throw my own book in there because The Millionaire Maker is very similar. It's a read and then do the blueprint depending on what you've done to yourself. And everybody does something different financially to themselves. If you drive from the passion that I drive from, which is the system isn't broke, it was built this way. 1933, Creature from Jekyll Island. And it's been on audio. It's a big book. It's like complex to read. I love Buckminster Fuller stuff. I love anything Napoleon Hill, right? And Sharon Lecter, who's like my financial mom, has done Outwitting the Devil, which is just all-star performance on a book that actually Napoleon's wife wouldn't let him publish because it's got a little interesting slant to it, right? Just Outwitting the Devil can kind of give you an idea. So I think there's the good old greats that, and I got a bunch of Zig stuff and, Brian stuff. So I think there's just the good old greats that you have, and they shouldn't ever leave your side.
Yeah, it's like the go-tos, and they're always there. And I did the same thing. That's what actually made me a reader. Was I went to Audible and listened to books, and that woke my butt up, because when I read it on the book, I didn't realize this, just because I thought it's just what everybody did. But it fatigued me to literally read with my eyeballs. But when I listen, I'm like, wow, this is phenomenal. I can absorb all this, and I'm not getting tired. I'm waking up. This is awesome. And so all of those books that are on that page, I read by listening to. And you can do bookmarks. They're awesome. You can tap a little ribbon, and you can go back. Instead of listening to the whole thing, you can go hit your bookmarks and get everything you thought was relevant the first time. But I recommend you listen to them all the way through, because you always find something new that you didn't even realize existed a second or third time through. And it's amazing, Loral, you mentioned you're in the middle of a seminar right now. You had a multitude of clients in your building. She took a break away to sit down and talk with us tonight live. Is that amazing or what? I will say yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, and the only reason I was just looking around is my beautiful, soon-to-be 13-year-old daughter is on her way here. So I was just heard the door, and I thought it was maybe her. So.
All right. And if she shows up,
I'm going to bring her on.
I was going to say she's more than welcome to make a cameo, for sure.
Guys how to be teenage millionaires.
There you go. Love it, love it. Yeah, let's bring her on when she gets here. That's fantastic. You're talking about, we're talking about you and your 50 plus books. That's listen to everyone that's watching or listening. If you haven't heard of Loral Langemeier before, now is the time to take notes. If you haven't already started, we'll give you all of the information on how to connect with her on her website, her books, And what I wanted to do, Loral, is take a few moments, if we would, or if you don't mind, what you're up to recently. I know you're coming again to Huntington Beach very soon, August 31st. Just happens to be my birthday. Thank you. And
No way. That's awesome. And you're going to be there?
oh, of course, with wearing wings. Yeah, I went to the one on June 22nd that you guys had in Huntington Beach, and it was phenomenal. Amazing, massive value, and great. You guys attracted an amazing group of people to come, and for me, it was very valuable as well. Listening to you was the networking in between and the breaks, and it was just a phenomenal event all the way around. So appreciate that. So go ahead, if you don't mind. How can people find out about this event coming up? Because it's very timely. It's coming up very soon. And how can they get a ticket?
So it's, well, first of all, we're going to do it free, and it's on Labor Day weekend. So people say, oh my gosh, it's on Labor Day weekend. I said, yep. So what else are you going to be doing? You're either going to be hanging out, doing nothing, go to the beach, hang out at the beach. We're coming down to go to the beach. And so a little bit about my background, why this is so critical. So if you go to integratedhealthandwealth.com, I have a finance and a business degree, and then I have a master's in exercise physiology. So I built 272 fitness centers on offshore oil rigs. I built corporate fitness centers. So now that CBD's in the world, and I'll tell you more what I'm up to, cannabis is in the world, hemp's in the world, I have to just shout it out, because just like you said, it's not just your mind and body about business, but it is critical that you integrate those. So I just developed this brand called integratedhealthandwealth.com. And I have world-leading doctors doing NIH studies on the use of cannabis for Alzheimer's and brain health. And then it kind of spread, and then I met Lauren, and she's like world Olympian in bodybuilding and strength training, and she and I just connected. So it's the Lauren and Loral show, and we have extraordinary, I'm not going to say just sponsors, tables, experiences, speakers, panels. So the 31st, we're going to be in Huntington Beach. We're going to open the doors around 8:30, 9 o'clock. We'll be there until they kick us out, and then we're going down to the beach and continuing to network and be together. So I think it's important you have your health, you have your wealth, and vice versa. So Lauren is going to be our featured right there. She is, right? So integratedhealthandwealth.com. And it's just going to be a great day. This is our second event together. We've become very close. I'm helping her with her money. She's helping me with my health again. She's got muscles that most people that shouldn't even have. I mean, she's amazing. And her nutrition, again, the routine is critical. So I'm excited about this. And again, it's a free event. When you VIP, it's $97, and you want a VIP because we're going to bring in lunch. We have all sorts of just extraordinary gifts for you. There's a software that we're going to be giving that we've never given before. Brian, you need this too. And it literally hedges you out of the market. So you will never, if you're in the stock market, which I'm not a fan of, but I do have some of the software and I have a little bit of money in it, but I never lose because I get out before the market moves. And the market's going to move. We're on the dawn of a presidential election. It always moves. Real estate moves, the market moves, the economy moves. So come join us. It's just going to be a fun day.
Absolutely. And oh yeah, I am all about automation. My ears get really big whenever I hear that wonderful, beautiful, precious word. And regarding VIP, this is something I tell everybody that once I learned and started doing it, every event I go to anymore, I always upgrade to VIP. It's only resulted in incredible, amazing things that you cannot even imagine until you do it. That's all I can tell you. Because you're going to meet the other influencers that also sign up as VIP. Think about that. You're going to be meeting with the creme de la creme of those that are in attendance, as well as oftentimes the actual speakers themselves. If Loral and Lauren make themselves available, that you might get a quick, a lunchtime with them, maybe bend their ear a little bit. Completely up to them, and but it's a powerful thing to do. Always recommend upgrading to VIP in 97. But come on, a free event. I mean, 97. It should be $297 for the event, and then another, $597 for VIP. But this is amazing. So it should be a no-brainer. I just wanted to help with that, just because I believe in that. Laurel, that's what I do when I go to events. I'm always VIP everywhere. And our buddy Jason Nass said, yes, you want to VIP. It makes a big difference. And he's our man from powertexting.com who's on the show talking in our chat area.
awesome. Yeah.
So fantastic. Yeah, I really wanted to make sure we got a shout out. And Lauren, what an amazing woman she is, just like you, so energetic, and just lights up the room. And yeah, she's got bigger arms than I do. She could take me down, and I don't have a problem admitting that.
That's why I'm going to start this boxing class, because I'm not actually going to, try. No, I'm not even going to try to compete. I mean, she's just amazing. She's a world title, bodybuilder. So
yeah,
she is extraordinary.
10-time female heavyweight champ. So she is literally like the female version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. She's her own person, but she is that type of echelon of person in the field of bodybuilding. And as an entrepreneur, she's just crushing it. Had a great show with her some time back as well. So what a dynamic duo. And guys, yes, just in case you're wondering, you are invited. You are welcome. Please do go. Powerful women attend this. Powerful men attend it. It's an amazing event. So glad that we got to showcase that, and hope that you guys keep that running for quite some time in the future. That would be awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. We talked about so many things or I did, I guess, in the opening about mind, body, business, and there's skill sets that must be acquired either by yourself or that you delegate out. And now we're talking skills, not so much in the mind area or the body area, but when it's time to turn the crank, so to speak. It's time to turn on the machine and let her rip and get, roll up the sleeves and get busy. As a very successful woman for many, many years, what would you say now, looking back, are the top three, if you could just pick three, the top three skills that you would recommend everyone acquire, become prolific at, and proficient to become a successful entrepreneur? What would those be?
No matter what, right? I mean, you have to embody these three. I would say as an entrepreneur, the three things that are not taught. There's entrepreneurial training taught across now named in universities, which is really BS, because it's mostly the business administration instructor who's never owned a company, who's now teaching your kid entrepreneurialism. So as you said, Brian, I'm unfiltered. So I have a lot of opinions about that, and I'm really rigorous about that. My son is in an extraordinary university, and he texted me day one from each of his business classes saying, Mom, I am learning how to get a job, not be a multimillionaire entrepreneur. From a dude, mostly dudes, some dudettes, who have never even run a company. I have learned more growing up as a mother. So I think he and I have the most extraordinary appreciation of my rigorous lifestyle. And he's traveled all over the world. He's been everywhere but Antarctica. So what are the absolute skills that will not be taught, and you have to embody them? Because even all that you delegate, right? Because when you're really at a higher level, I always say you need to lead it, not do it.
That's right.
So I am the ultimate delegator, which, rigorous or not, you have got to learn to let stuff go. So I think a mistake people make is they try to control it all. You can't control it all. People are going to do what they do. You've got to do your damnedest to lead. So number one is you have to lead and stop doing it. So when I hear these people have their hands on the keyboard all day, you're missing huge pieces called marketing. You say, well, I can market online. There's nothing that will replace the human interaction. There's just nothing. You say, well, that's old fashioned. I don't think so. I can outperform and outdo what a millennial will do online all day long, still to this day. So leading, marketing, and selling are the most critical skill sets, and you have to do them all as the lead entrepreneur. So you have to know how to sell your own stuff. You have to sell other people's stuff. You have to learn, before I had my stuff, I sold Kiyosaki stuff, 1996. Honestly, I sold Chevron stuff. That's what I worked for. So you have to learn to sell. Selling other people's stuff is easier in the beginning than learning to sell your stuff. And I think as a woman, so many women have this weird thing about their ego or feeling like they're bragging. You're not bragging. You're just damn confident. And so you have got to learn to lead, to market, and to sell. So the difference is you're going to lead and delegate. You're going to market, which is get your word out and get leads, people interested in you. And then you have to sell, which is how do you want to pay? credit card, cash, wire, digital currency. How do you want to pay? And you have to learn those words. And as a woman, I think you know that, Brian, I'm probably one of the stronger ones, not only because it's my conversation about money, but most women don't ask for money. They'll just say, so let me know if you're interested. That's not selling. That's like horrible. So those are skill sets you have to put on your tool belt. In our community, teenagers come free. So when parents say, you know what, I really want to work with you and I want this legacy conversation, I want to teach my kids money, the kids come free and they never pay. And you can imagine the internships that our kids get working for other successful parents and other businesses. But those skill sets are critical. And to get a kid at 9, 10, 11 years old to say, Brian, how do you want to pay, and actually have the right and the ability to take a credit card, it's powerful. Those kids are amazing, and they're not contaminated. They don't have this weird thing about, oh my gosh, Brian's going to tell me no. You know, all that weird stuff that goes on. So I could go on forever about this conversation, as you can tell, but those are 3 critical skill sets that you don't get to delegate those. I mean, you get to delegate parts of it, but you have to command.
And we can go on. I know you have an extra 2 hours after we're done, so
I know, right?
I'm fine with it. This is all gold, people. Write this all down. Delegation. I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head, of course. I remember when I got my first person to help me. I now have a team of 5, but the first person, it so changed my mindset. I had no idea. I thought, my God, I can actually now pursue things I never would have even given a second thought to, meaning related to my business, expanding it, doing more things because now I had help. And it's all about getting rid of that ego. That is how you get to start asking for help and delegating. And then leadership skills to nurture that team, to edge them along. And thank you for being so honest about you need to do the marketing and selling. You got to be the leader in more ways than one. Ask for the close, ask for the money. Will that be cash, check, or charge? How would you like to pay today? That is a big one, even with men, big time with men. I remember doing strategy call after strategy call years ago, and that finally became so ingrained in me. I was like, this is easy now. It's like, it's a lot of work, fear of rejection. You know what? That's going to happen. It's going to happen, and get over it. That's getting over yourself. It's not about you.
So I have to go. I got to go, Brian.
Yeah, please.
It's already a no. If you don't ask, it's already a no.
Perfect.
And here's what I also know. So, and I teach it from, I'm going to say that secret spiritual place is everyone listening has a skill. They have something that is an amazing gift. And mine is money. So after 20 years, I just know how to teach you money. So I would be ripping you off if I didn't serve you to say, I'll change your life with money. And I know we're talking about mindset, but I want to throw a little spin in there. So I can change your mind or I can change your checkbook. So the faster I can teach you how to get evidence, which is money in your bank, now your mind has to reconcile and say, shit, I made $100. It's like, I don't know if you know T.R. Garland, but I love his daughter. She's on this mission to teach, like really teenage girls, like empowerment. She showed up to an event about a month ago. It was right after Huntington Beach, and she's so cute. She's like, am I late? And I said, yeah, we're kind of closing down. And she said, I'm going to get to it. And she made $100 in like 30 minutes because I taught her how to do it. Anyone listen, you can make money so quick. If you have an offer, you have a price, you're willing to say it, ask for the money. And here's what I'm going to just go back to though, is if you know you're going to serve somebody's life, you owe it to them to sell hard. I'm known for being like the most intense, probably businesswoman on the planet. People say, oh my gosh, you're doing business with Loral. She's so intense. Because I know I'm going to help you. And you know what? If I mess it up, screw it up, Brian, you can call me and say, Laura, I was expecting that. And I said, good, let's reset and go again. And we'll reset and go again. And I think so many people have such a weird frame about money, what it's really about. If you're serving someone's life, you owe it to them to get to it. Because guess what? They're going to buy somebody else's crap. And then they're not going to serve them as well. And then you get to go behind them. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Brian. Mm-hmm. And then you get to clean up the mess. You get to clean up the emotional mess. They'll say, well, I bought a program. I said, I don't teach a program. I teach a lifestyle. If you want to get rich, I'll teach you how to get rich. My point is serve, which means you better stay in there. So don't back out when the tension gets weird and say, how do you want to pay? And just be straight about it.
So that's when the excitement meter goes up. Uh-oh, we have a cameo coming. I sense it. Come on in.
My beautiful daughter.
There she is.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. And your name is?
Kristen.
Say again?
Kristen.
Kristen, how are you doing, Kristen?
Good,
With the
how are
T.
you?
You have an amazing mom. I know you know that already. And you are one blessed young lady.
Thank you.
She couldn't wait. She was looking at the door of this whole show, awaiting your arrival.
Where's my coat?
Thanks so much for dropping by. You're welcome anytime.
No problem.
You should do a whole call with her. She'll tell kids.
I'll do it. Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
I've had a 16-year-old amazing woman come on, a young lady, earlier, and that was, yeah, I'm absolutely open to that for sure. To help, teenagers and the young folk to realize, hey, you don't have to wait till you're an adult to get started. She's a product of the product. I love change. I can change your mind or I can change your checkbook, because when it comes down to everybody listening, it's not about the process or how you get there. It's about the results at the end. All the other stuff doesn't mean crap. As long as there's integrity along the way, which Loral has all of that, who cares what it takes to get there? As long as the results are there and you know you can get there, then just, don't worry about what your preconceived notions are. Get over your ego and get the results that you need. And I love how you're framing this, Loral, and this is so great to teach everyone. If you have something that can change people's lives for the better, just as Loral's saying, it would be an absolute disservice if you do not sell them. In fact, you have our permission to make all the money in the world. If you're serving other people, we bless that. We want you to, because the more money you make, just like Loral, the more people you can serve. It's a simple thing. And so let's just get over this whole money thing and enjoy the ride and serve more people. I'm getting goosebumps again, Loral.
I know. So I have to speak to another thing about that. So I love the millennials, because I have some. But it's interesting how they're like, let's do it for a lifestyle. And, I'm 54, you're 55. I don't really care how old, how old we are. So people put us in the old category. Older.
Really?
And what's funny, yeah, they do actually.
What?
So here's what's funny about it, because, we can outperform a lot of them. But what's cute about a new conversation is let's do it for a lifestyle, because we just want to have this lifestyle. I have flown on private planes since she was born. Here's what's interesting. I hate the word retirement, because retirement suggests, well, first of all, it's an agricultural word that means to put to pasture, to die. So it's not even a financial word. It's the most screwed up word in the entire financial vocabulary. So I just dismiss it. I won't use it. It's sort of like budgets. That's like diets. No one's doing any of that either. It's restrictive. So if we're abundant about our conversation, then we're going to be free. And so our lifestyle is always, of course, I did this to live my life to be totally free. I have traveled all over the world whenever I want, with kings and queens and princes in G5 jets, to my own plane, to whatever. So I love this, let's build a business for lifestyle. I'm thinking, well, what the hell else would you do? I mean, that's the point. The point is total freedom to do what you want, when you want to be. So freedom to me is choice. You get to choose what you do. You can get up and have a routine here. You can get up and have a routine in Australia. You can get up and have a routine in Asia. You can be anywhere you want in the world. This whole new, let's have a lifestyle business. Oh, it's so passe. You're so old, just trying to catch up with us. Are you kidding? I've traveled with Zig on his last years. I mean, all the guys we named, we all did this for a lifestyle. So I love how it's like a new thing to say, oh, let's go have a lifestyle. Well, what the hell do you think we did all this for? We are so free. Our kids have traveled everywhere. Anyway, I could go on and on. So I just have to pick on that, because I love that I watch, because I'm still poking at books, right? And they're like, have a lifestyle business, right? Yeah. How about be an entrepreneur and have a lifestyle business? That's what we do.
Right.
So, that's not a question, but I have to kind of poke at that, because I think a lot of people think, well, we don't do what we want. We do what we want because we love it.
For the people watching, tell us this, Loral, is you're a very successful woman, and now it's all just coming to you simple and easy and effortless, and it's all just passive income, isn't it? And you can just sit back on the beach on your swing and just relax, and with your umbrella drink, and you don't have to work another day, right? That's how it works, right?
Yes and no if you do it right. So I could stop it all. Right? I'm at that place. I'm at that sellout. I'm at that right sizing. I won't, because again, I'm back. What I've been gifted with, most people don't teach. And I think it's a ripoff to not do it. plus our brains when you're totally engaged. You don't do this for the money. I mean, let's be honest. At the beginning, you do it for the money because you want to figure it all out. But then it's past the money. Then it's about just living your life and doing it the way you want to do it. And I'm in this interesting transition. My son's off to college. My husband is still back and forth to Canada. So it's sort of this interesting, do I want to continue to travel around the world, do a lot of it, or do I want to do something different? So I'm actually at a big transition point in this conversation. There are 3 new asset classes on the planet that are going to dominate. And it is digital currency. I'm not even going to call it crypto because I don't like that word. It's digital currency, which is going to be backed by, blockchain's already like passe and old. It's already like on to other technologies. And if you don't know about them, then you should get current. And cannabis, hemp, like there are so many cool things to do that are going to change the planet. And so I'm really kind of onto that stuff. I've been in that stuff for a very long time, but I'm really committed 2020. I'll always do this work, but I am in a big transition. So to your point, is it passive income? If you do it right. I think a lot of people don't do it right. Like I'll speak to beginning business owners, and I'm talking beginning meaning you're in the 1 to 2 million or less, not just hundreds of thousandaires. Is you spend too much money putting money back into your own company, and you don't do what I call the wealth cycle. You don't put money to work. So you don't put money to work so you actually have passive income. So then round and round you go. It's no different than being an executive on somebody else's grind. You have to figure out your own. And I've gone in and out of phases. I'm not perfect about it, but like you catch yourself and say, why am I in this routine? This is interesting. You're making a lot of money, but is it really what you want? So designing your life over and over and over has got to be very purposeful. And I think living in the money and business conversation without a mentor and coach who has the results you want is an insane proposition. You think about how much money you spend in supplements, in fitness, in whatever you do, but why don't you have a finance coach? Oh, because you're going to give your money to a financial planner who's going to like park your money in the stock market where they get to get fees. And like most market makers in any financial institute will make a minimum of 2, if not up to 12% on you. And you don't know because it's not disclosed. So you want to talk about the passion that I live by? You can look at this little board behind me, right? Sorry, wrong way, right that way. It starts with entities, tax. Like there is such a system for you to get rich, and I'm passionate about it. You can tell, and Brian, I get on my little soapbox about it. I get intentional and very passionate about it. So what am I doing? I could stop, but I'm not going to. In fact, like I love some of this adjunct professor stuff that I'm getting because people want me to come and teach the business of hemp, the business of cannabis, the business of digital currency, because those professors don't know how to do it. And I know how to run companies. And so I'm kind of this interesting transition. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, but I'm entertaining a lot of other cool stuff that is going to change the planet. That wasn't really a question. I kind of just answered how I wanted.
And it's interesting because it doesn't really matter where anyone is in their walk with their entrepreneurship or their journey, because it's ever changing, ever ebbing, ever flowing all the time. And I've actually asked an interesting question that you've already answered. Basically, it's like, what if there was a ceiling and you could go no farther and that was it? You hit the top of the top level of success.
Then I make a new ceiling.
So that's another great answer. That's another new one. What if there was no other ceiling? What would that feel like? What if you were done and you could not continue doing what you're doing? And every one of them said, I would be bored out of my gourd. I couldn't. I would
make a new ceiling. I'd make something else up.
Exactly.
I mean, I would just make something else up. That's what it's constantly reinventing.
Yes.
It's constantly making something else up. And you know, my 5th New York Times, it was written like 2012. And it's like, say yes and figure it out. So what's interesting about a say yes moment, it's the moment where you actually have no freaking idea what the hell you're doing. You say yes, and then that moment, and here's what happens to most people. You say yes, and then for these nanoseconds, you come up with every reason why it can happen. But I'm not this, and so then you have to think, I'm not, but I have a team, right? That's the transitional moment.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in cannabis. I've never grown a weed plant in my life. And I don't really kind of plan on it. That doesn't mean I can't be in the industry. I've never grown a hemp plant. I've never distilled to oils. I haven't done that stuff, but you know what? My job is to lead and find a team who's going to get me my yes. And when you have that, there is no ceiling, because you'll just keep redefining and refining your way. And with the right passion, mission, and what you're supposed to be doing on the planet, I think I'd have to be done off the planet. I'd be in a different dimension. So I wouldn't be here on this physical body when that moment happened.
Yeah, and that was the point to the whole thing was, if you're a true entrepreneur, I haven't met one yet that is different than what you just described. If you don't have that drive and if you want to just stop serving others, then you're probably not a true entrepreneur in the sense that I would define anyway. I mean, maybe I'm making up my own definition, but that's just my opinion. But thank you for also mentioning mentors and coaches. That was gold, because so many, look, every one of us, including Loral, including myself, we have many talents. We could literally do everything if we put our nose to it ourselves and burn out and die, because you just don't have enough bandwidth. One person can't do it all. You have the ability to make it happen, but pick and choose. What is your core competency and stick with that and delegate the rest. That is amazing. Get coaches and mentors to help you learn how to delegate if you're not already delegating. The best of the best of the best on the planet did not do it themselves. We have Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, sports figures we're talking about here. Every financial person, Loral Langemeier has had coaches and mentors. That is how she's gotten where she is. I've had coaches and mentors. It's all about getting that ego. It's like this common denominator for those that have not yet taken that step. It's just push that ego aside and say, yes, I want and need help. And when the student's ready, the teacher will arrive. It's amazing. And it works every single time. Every single time.
Every single time.
I mean, so this is absolute gold. I hope everyone's furiously writing notes. You had mentioned earlier, before we came on, you had some gifts. And I wanted to take this moment for you to be able to let folks know. This is amazing. I so appreciate you doing this. And there we go. I think I've got the right one on the page. Let me know if I've got that correct when you come on. If you wouldn't mind telling the folks what they can do and what they should do to get this wonderful suite of gifts that you have for them.
Perfect. So right there, you go to Just Met Loral. So JustMetLoral. So justmetloral.com. You go to, because you just met me. And if you've seen me before, well, then we see me again, and it's time to get moving. So I have a ticket to an event, one of my own personal, 2.5 day. I start on a Wednesday and I go to Friday. I bring in a wealth team. So I have a ticket. I have a reading room, which is me reading, interpreting how to put more cash in your pocket. I have Never Pay Your Kid an Allowance, which is an extraordinary program that we are updating. So by logging in fact, I will make sure that this gets on the page. We are doing a financial IQ for families program. So I'm going to get that up there. It's just an ongoing series of gifts, extraordinary gifts that are for you. So you sign up right there, put your information in. What we do is we teach you how to make, keep, and invest money. How do you do it with the team? And it's just been it's just a great site. So just like this, whenever I meet people, there you go, complimentary ticket to my workshop. And it just keeps scrolling down. Never Pay Your Kid an Allowance. That's so critical. I used to teach, I taught a UCLA elite program, cash machine reading room, and I'll put a few little gifts on there. But I want to just speak to Never Pay Your Kid an Allowance. If you're serious about generational wealth and teaching your kids, why would you pay them a fixed amount for no defined work? And you say, well, they have lists of chores. Yeah, but teach them to negotiate like an entrepreneur. So I have a whole strategy. There's worksheets you can download on how to negotiate with your child, how to get them as kids and teenagers. Never pay them an allowance. They negotiate, and then they complete what they're negotiated for on their contract with you. So you're teaching them to be little entrepreneurs from the minute they are on the planet till the minute they walk off. So you can tell that's one of my favorite on there. So come out to one of our workshops. There's a ticket for free. It's normally $750, and all of this together is probably, a couple $1,000. So you just met me, so come hang out with us.
Truly phenomenal. Thank you so much. So Just Met Loral, and that's Loral. Loral, justmetloral.com. Thank you so much. That is an amazing gift, and not just one gift, many gifts, as you see right there. So, we bring nothing but the best on this show. And Laurel has raised the bar. I don't know how I'm going to top this next time, but we're going to give it a go. That's for sure. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to bring on someone as impactful and an influencer as such as yourself, Laurel. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. We're not done yet, just so you know. I'm not closing us up, because there is one question I'm deeply curious.
Here we go.
Yeah, no, it's not that one yet. Nope, not that one. This one I'm very deeply curious about, because it's so multifaceted, and there are so many ways to do it, and it really only takes one. And once you found that way, you stick with it till it doesn't work, and you try again. And that is in the area of marketing. Now, you've created businesses, you've written books, you've had success left, right, up, down, and sideways. And for you, at this moment, what would you say, looking back so far to date, has been your most successful form of marketing? Again, there's many ways, I understand, but if you could just pick one that was your go-to, or could be your go-to.
Speaking.
Oh, yes, I love it.
I love to talk. I've never even typed a book. I talk them all. And those of you that need a book, so I'm actually Thursday, in a few days from now, I am headed with my writing team, who will record the most sophisticated conversation in a category that I'm not telling you yet. And it will sweep the nation. And we're going to launch it towards the holiday. It will sweep the nation in what anyone has ever thought about this topic. So stay tuned. It'll be on Just Met Laurel. And I was contracted about a year ago to write a book. And when we got into the topic, I went back and I said, this can't happen. Like, what you want me to make a millionaire in, it's not happening because of the laws, the strategy, blah, blah, blah. So I'm doing a cliffhanger right now.
Yes, you are.
So I'm flying in some of the best in the industry. Some of the best are just coming because they want to be in the book. And I'm going to be the lead author. I'll be the lead, but there will be some extraordinary folks you've never even heard of, and they're changing the world in this industry. So I've already kind of mentioned where I'm going, so it's in that category, but it will be out by Christmas. So here's what I'm going to say to those of you writing a book and speaking. So I'm going to speak, and I'm going to pre-sell, and I will pre-sell thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of these books before it even hits the shelves. And then it will hit the shelves, and then it will go crazy wild. Then I'm going to come back on your show. But speaking is connection. It's human interaction, it's influence, it's marketing, it's selling, it's leading, it's everything in one category, and nothing digital. I will take all of them on. They're all dear friends of mine, and I love them dearly as they watch this show and they want to come back and say, oh no, you can do a webinar. Anybody can do a webinar. But we're not touching, we're not talking, we're not hugging, we're not like eye to eye. Like, you're in mine, but I'm not in yours. And there is nothing that's speaking and put it on the heels of a book. So you just saw where I was going. So you speak, you pre-sell, you put it on the heels of a book, and then all the rest of the stuff, can come afterwards. But nothing will outperform human connection.
I so resonate with that. I'm so glad you said that. I was the lead trainer for my mentor for a couple of years, spoke from stage, trained from stage, taught, watched people change in front of my eyes from stage as we took them through processes. And I so agree with you, Laurel. There is nothing like being on stage physically in the presence of an audience, and you feed off their energy and vice versa. And it's just, there's no way to describe it. And you're absolutely right. Like, right now, we're not sitting in the same room, and we can't feed off of each other like we would if we were. Right. And there's no way to describe that unless someone else would just do it and compare, right? So it's an amazing thing. Oh gosh, you're the first one of all my guests that said speaking was your go-to for marketing. And man, I just about did a backflip of joy on that one, because I so enjoy speaking from stage. That is one of the reasons I have this very show, is that it scratches that itch until the next time I go on stage. I took a step back, rebuilding my platform. So it's not the right time yet. When it is, look out, baby. It's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. And thank you. You just got me going. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Oh gosh, 5 minutes. No way. All right. So we do have that one question coming up that, it's an awesome question. I ask this of every past guest.
Not on my little sheet, is it? It's like something else.
Yeah, it's actually, It's great, and I know you're gonna probably instantly have the answer for you. But if you don't, that's cool too. There's no problem with dead air time. I'm not paying for the air, so that's a good thing. Take as long as you need on this one. But really quick, before I do that, I promised everyone that they could enter to win. Remember that? A 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. You talk about an open loop and a cliffhanger. There we go. Here it is. For those of you watching and you're still on live with us, it's a real simple process. All you need to do is type in the phone number you see on the screen, and that is 661-535-1624. And then down in that message area where you would type in your message to text your friends or buddies, you type in the word PEAK, P-E-A-K, and tap on that little send icon, and you will be entered to win. So again, the number is 661-535-1624, and type in the word PEAK, P-E-A-K. And again, this is sponsored by my good buddy Jason Nast at powertexting.com and his crew. And again, it's a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort in Mexico. So do that now. You have our permission to do that right now. Do it quick, because it is time for us to close this show. But before we do, I've got a very, very special question for our star of the hour. Here's the thing, Loral. It's not such a big deal. So here's the thing. There is no such thing as a wrong answer. There's none. And in fact, the exact opposite is true. The only correct answer is your answer. And the interesting thing is, because what I've found to date, having interviewed over 60 so far on this show and asked this very question, no two people have answered it the same exact way yet. I imagine it will happen, but it hasn't yet. It's unique to every individual. I found that very interesting. So with that big buildup, are you ready?
Question.
All right. Loral Langemeier, how do you define success?
How do I define success? You live the life that you design every day, and you get up and do it over and over and over. So you live life by choice. Does it have a financial number? I actually have a wealth definition, which I think a lot of people can take on, which is that your investments make enough passive income that you never have to work. And then you get to do whatever the heck you want because you can. So I think that is a big piece that you acquire over time. Success is how you define your life, what you want to get up and do every day, how many lives you've served, and did you actually fulfill any part of your mission and vision of what you wanted to do. That's how I'd say that.
Beautiful, beautiful. And par for the course for one area. No single person made money the absolute focus, because even when you started down the money path, it was really about liberation, giving you the freedom. The money is a vehicle to give you the freedom to do what you want, when you want.
And to give back, which most people don't realize that.
Yeah. And those that aren't as grizzled veterans as those that have been on my show, just like you, many would say, well, I want to make my first mill. It'd be direct down the point of money. But this is what I love about what I get to do, Loral, is people like you are serve first, and you're heart-based, heart-centered. You want to help people. You know you can, and it's a disservice if you did not ask them for their credit card so that you can help them, because that credit card will then be paid off and then some if they just follow your tutelage. And you know that. They just don't know that. And it's your job to convince them that they need to work with you. And God bless you for doing that.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Wow. We made it. I can't believe it.
And I'm going to see you in Huntington Beach.
Absolutely.
Workshop.
August 31st. August 31st, ladies and gentlemen. Let's throw that up real quick one more time, just because that's a great way to fire this off. So go to integratedhealthandwealth.com. Spell out the word and. Integratedhealthandwealth.com. Get your free ticket. And don't just get your free ticket. Just go for VIP. $97. Goodness sakes. I think, do they even get food with that, Loral?
They get lunch, they get snacks, they're going to get a total experience. They're going to get a software that will hedge them out of the market. They'll never lose money in the darn stock. Like if they're in the stock market, they won't lose again. And a whole bunch of cool gifts. You might even get the secret. You might even, cool swag.
It's like you almost can't even get lunch in Huntington Beach for $97. Come on, people. So just do it. Sign up as VIP. Even if you don't, all kidding aside, definitely commit to yourself and go and spend an amazing day with two amazing women and their teams, their respective teams, and everyone else that they attract to this amazing event. Can't wait to see you all there. Loral, thank you again. I know you have to get back to business. We need to wrap this up so you can go do that thing that you do, which is help and serve others. Appreciate you more than words can express at this moment. Thank you so very much for coming on. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Be blessed all. Thank you for coming on, watching live, and listening afterward on the recording. We will see you again on the next edition of the Mind Body Business Show. Bye-bye for now.
Cheers.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind Body
Alright,
Business Show
yeah.
with Brian Kelly.
I think he's still live. I just stopped the video. It's good. He's good.